Soon, very soon, I'm going to begin scripting these when we start the new channel. And one of the reasons why is because I find it almost. I will tell you that there's channeling going on here, okay? And Christ has sat here and spoken through me. You know, um, I know in the past, especially when we were on fire and doing all that stuff, and we were speaking words that we didn't understand. I mean, that came from nowhere. I mean, I knew it was something now. Now, in retrospect, I know it was another portion of me. You might call it my higher self, um, that was speaking. And it's that them that knows things that I don't know, and they speak as though they know these things, and they're assured, completely confident. If there's one, it's 1,000%, and I know it. I can feel it. And I mean, it's not just a feeling. It's I know they know. You know, it's like I don't know. I can't say what it is or who it is, but it's me, in a sense. The same as that which upstairs I commanded is me. And boy, I'm going way off of what the topic is. What's the topic? Okay, for this video, it will be obedience to God's voice. One of them out there that um, I do believe we'd known in spirit, or I should say, one aspect of them that we've known in spirit. One of the individual type of ones was talking about obedience to God's voice and how, this next phase is going to require obedience to God's voice. Just listen to God's voice. And of course, we've done this before, I think. And it's sort of a funny thing. It's like, well, does that mean I should listen to you or the prophet down the prophetess or prophet down the road who's portraying themselves as a voice of God? Um, hmm. And then of course here's the question, is what if I'm very knowing of false voices, spirits who have proven themselves absolutely to be good for nothing other than stumbling me, distracting me, or misleading me. And get this, some of them not even really that's their intent. They have other intent. They just anyway. Um, I was listening to another, I think it was a Toto song again yesterday, it was as though I heard another line from that song, as though it was, get this key right here again. It's like, Toto, I'm going to have to go back and listen to their music, man. I really am, because it was like all it's so much stuff in one song. I mean, I'm going to have to go back and listen to their album music, because I'm sure it's probably chock full of all kinds of stuff that should be prove interesting. Um, but one of the things I think it was saying something about stars, and you know what, stars, we've made a bunch of stars, and they know me, and there's good ones, and there's those that are light. You know what I'm saying? Not fire. I mean, there's celebrities out there that are called stars, and they may be bright, but they're fire, you see. And there's a difference between stars that are real stars. They're sitting there going, and they've got that light vibe going on. And they may be full spectrum, but anyway, there's a line in that song about the stars and how they. But anyway, there are these stars that I do uh, fit well with, or fit rather well with me, and it seemed very natural, and they are it's the correct vibe, the correct feel, the mannerisms, the method, the demeanor. Okay, these things, you know, can either be correct or not, and we're going to go with what we know is us and what we've always been most comfortable with. This whole exercise the other day about your future self. Well, we're not quite done defining that, I guess, but basically it is very much like what we have been, and I do believe what we've been intended to be. So, and that's a voice that feels correct, uh, with some adjustments. Okay, in other words, think of if I had if I had the chance to live that life that I'd lived before, knowing as I do now. You see what I'm saying? And not and still not having been damaged and all that stuff. Just imagine the kind of character that would have been produced by the journey at this point. And but that is leading me more towards a message regarding this other guide, who's an equestrian of some sort, I do believe, and is um, the opposite of the prescribed path type of thing. Um, this is what I'd ask: is how about I follow my conscience, whom is good. See, if I actually follow that voice, which again, out of all these that I've known who have come to sit here and pretend themselves as me, here in God's temple, right? Which voice should I follow? Which voice am I going to be most comfortable with? True. Now, that's the thing. But then we also have prayer, which leads us back to definition. And we can hone these things. We can narrow this down, kids, so that that narrow path is the narrow path. And it's very well defined. And those things that are not a part of that path fall away. You see what I'm saying? So that the only thing that we hear is exactly what we should hear to have our victory and be most successful and reach our journeys, reach our goals. Because they say, we all came in here voluntarily, and that we came in here for this reason or that reason. And more often than not, they've been pushing that you're here to heal the world. Well, am I here to balance the force, am I? Is that... Because as far as I can tell, what they did was create a great imbalance in the force, bringing about the reason for me to manifest as what they feared I would be. Bum, bum, bum. I was pointing out this kind of stuff in the front of the journey when they first came down on us. I was like, the thing about divination is you have to understand, and this has been, it's been demonstrated again and again and again, you cannot look into the future, okay, and see it, and then do anything at all regarding that unless you're actually somehow, possibly, more than possible, a factor within it. Something that is bringing that about. In other words, if you begin to labor for it or against it, one way or the other, you're a participant in that story, okay? Then, and the only way to change the future, and as far as I can tell, is your own personal future, all right? Because I have seen it done temporarily, but all they did was stave off what was coming to them by a couple of weeks, I think is what it was. It was like, it's coming back around waiting for them, and it was. But the way to change your future and your outcome, your fate, is to change you, who you are, okay? And so we have changed us again. And they say, there's that famous line in the Pearl Jam song, I change by not changing at all. Small town predicts my fate. Blah, 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 blah. But the thing of it is do we change? Not really. Not in essence, that's for sure. We have our programming. And you know what? As far as I can tell, that came with me when I came in, But that's for another story. We're just trying to get back to being us and following the voice that is kind of me. And, that's why the singers and actors are there. So I can look at it and go, well, yeah, that's me. Yeah. I can identify with what they're portraying. Okay. The character or the sentiment, right? Isn't that what it's there for? All of us who are in a journey to see and know that we're not completely contained in one basket. All our eggs are not in one basket. Because, of course, they're not, right? Um, as figuratively speaking, guys, right? So I'm going way off of the thing here, I think. But yeah, we're just going to stick with what's happening, what we're doing, and what we're being. I'll address this other tack, this potential course to follow. But right now, this is probably what's going to get us to where we're needing to go. You see what I'm saying? But I'm still listening. The conversation's not completely ended, I don't think. We're going to, like I say, we're going to continue on as best as we can. Yeah, sure, if we could just, again, sure, if we could just go, a computer end of simulation, like we tried to do about 18 years ago. It didn't work. Called for tech support, just like Tom Cruise and Vanilla Sky. We tried, man. I mean, we were looking for advice and ways to correct the programming of the machine and what was going on, get the show back on track. But anyway, I guess that's probably what we're doing is getting back on track. I'm kind of thinking we had set goals before we came into this game supposedly as an infant. Okay. Again, guys, thank you so very much for all that you're doing to help. Thank you for helping us to continue climbing. I heard some stuff the other day that was saying something about how that they could take us way higher than where we're. And I'm thinking, hey, that's good. That's what we're after, where we're going. Oh, coffee time's over, I guess. All right, guys. Happy voting day. Vote Republican. Vote for the non-demonized party.